Hey guys, so today we're going to go through the integers and their opposites study guide. This is unit 7, so follow along with me. All right, so the first one says find the opposite of 27. The opposite of 27 is going to be negative 27. The opposite of negative 21. So we start at negative 21. The opposite of that is positive 21. The opposite of that is back to negative 21. The next one says find the opposite of the absolute value of 33. Well, the absolute value of 33 is 33, and then the opposite of that is negative 33. Okay, number 4, you have a debt of $250. Write an integer to represent this situation. So since we are writing an integer, we can use negatives here. So negative 250 is what we're going to write. The next one says Matt has a bank account with a balance of negative $10. This means that he has a debt of. So we're talking real world here, so we have to take the absolute value of negative 10, which is he has a debt of $10. Okay, and then lastly, John lost 2 pounds in a game. How much did John's score change? It changed by 2 points. Again, it's not asking for the integer in question 5 or question 6, so we are looking for the absolute value of both of those numbers. Even though he lost them, he just changed by 2 points. All right, here we're ordering these from least to greatest. So the first 2 numbers, there's nothing that we need to change about them. We are just going to look at them as they are. The last one, though, we do need to convert into a decimal, so this is going to be 3 point something. So we should divide 5 into 3. 5 can't go into 3, but it can go into 36 times. So we get 3.6 is really what that is, and then those absolute value bars. So we're taking the absolute value of 3.6, which is just 3.6. So when we compare here, remember we want the same amount of numbers behind the decimal place, so we're going to add a 0, and they want us to go from smallest to largest. So the smallest number here, it's definitely going to be the negatives. It's going to be this one right here because it's, remember when you're looking at negatives, the one that appears to be bigger actually has a smaller value. So negative 3.66 should be first. The next smallest one will be our next negative, so negative 3.61, which means our largest number is the last one here. And remember, we have to write it in the original format, which is the absolute value of 3 3/5. Okay, this one is asking to order from greatest to least, so it's actually the opposite of the one before. So the first one, the absolute value of negative 1/10 is going to just be 1/10 positive. We do need to convert 1/9 into a decimal, so we need to see how many times 9 can go into 1. Well, it can't go into 1, but it can go into 10 one time. 1 times 9 is 9. We get 1 again, drop a 0. Oh, we're back at 10. So we're going to get a repeating number here. It should be 0.11 repeating. And then the last one, we also need to divide here. We need to see how many times 5 can go into 2. 5 can't go into 2, but it can go into 24 times. So that last one is negative 0.4. All right, again, it's asking for greatest to least. So to compare the first top 2 numbers that are positive, we need to make sure we have the same amount of numbers behind the decimal place. So you can see here that this one is the largest, which was originally written as 1/9. The second one that we are going to write is going to be our other positive number, which was the absolute value of negative 1/10. And that leaves us with our smallest number, which was down here at the bottom. The original fraction was negative 2/5. All right, for these, we're plotting the rational numbers on the number line below. There's a bunch of ways you can do this. You could change all these fractions to decimals, or you can just think about it logically. For the first one, we've got negative 1.5. So that's actually going to go between negative 1 and negative 2. So around right here, negative 1.5. The next one is negative 2 1/3. So that's going to be negative 2 and a little more. So roughly around here, it would be negative 2 1/3. The next one, 5/10, if we simplify this fraction, which would be to divide by 5 here, divide both these by 5, we get 1/2, which is just 1/2. So if we're plotting 1/2, that's going to be between 0 and 1/2, which is about here. So this is where 5/10 would go. And then the next one, it's the opposite of the absolute value of 1/2. So the absolute value of 1/2 is 1/2, right? And then they want us to take the opposite, which would make it negative. So this one's going to be negative 1/2, so in between -1 and 0. So that was the negative absolute value of 1/2. And then the last one is 3/4. This one I think is easiest to divide out and see where that might be on the number line if you don't know what 3/4 is. So if we do that, we're going to see how many times 4 can go into 3. It cannot, but it can go into 37 times. We get 28. When we subtract, we get 2, add a 0, drop a 0, and then we get 5. So we get 0.75 here, which is going to be just a little bit smaller than 1/2. So around right here would be where this would go, and this is our 3/4. Just 6 there. All right, for this one, we are listing the following numbers in order from least absolute value to greatest absolute value. So what I would suggest is taking the absolute value of all of these numbers and thinking about it that way. So the absolute value of -9 is 9, the absolute value of 3 is 3, absolute value of 6 is 6, absolute value of -20 is 20, absolute value of 15 is 15, and then the absolute value of -5 is 5. So we are going from smallest absolute value to largest absolute value. So our smallest number here is 3. So the first number we're going to write is 3. Our next biggest number is going to be 5. So that would be -5 was that number. Next is 6. So we're just going to write 6. The next biggest number would be 9, which was originally -9. So -9. The next one would be 15, which was just 15. And then finally, 20 is our biggest number, which was -20. So this would be listing them in order from least absolute value to greatest absolute value. All right, for this one, it says some AMMS teachers have joined Weight Watchers. The table below shows their weight loss or gain. So we are to write an inequality comparing Miss Cattell and Miss Smith's results. So if I look at Miss Cattell's results, she lost 5 pounds. So when we're comparing them though, remember we're going to be taking the absolute value of the results. So the absolute value of -5 is Miss Cattell, and then the absolute value of 5.5 would represent Miss Smith. Okay, so if we think about those two numbers, the absolute value of -5 will give us 5, and the absolute value of -5.5 will give us 5.5. So which one of these is larger? That's going to be Miss Smith's weight loss. So she had a greater amount of change for this weight loss challenge. So this would be the inequality that we would write to represent this situation. Next, it says write an inequality to compare Miss McCall and Miss Townsend's results. So we're going to do the same thing. Miss McCall's results was -3. We're going to take the absolute value of that. And we're going to compare it to Miss Townsend's, which was the absolute value of 2. So if we're looking at that, the absolute value of -3 is 3, and the absolute value of 2 is 2. So the greater the inequality that we would write would be facing Miss McCall's here. We would use the greater than sign to represent this situation. All right, New Orleans is 8 feet below sea level, Singapore is at sea level, and Paris is 34 feet above sea level. Write an integer to represent each location's elevation. So here it's asking for an integer, and also elevation is okay to write in negatives and positives. So New Orleans, it says it's below sea level, 8 feet, so that's going to be -8. Singapore is at sea level. Sea level is 0 feet. And then finally, Paris, that is 34 feet above sea level, so that would just be +34. All All right, for this one, we have to circle all of the inequalities that are true. So we've got 4 different statements here. We're going to start all the way to the left. So we've got negative 1.6, and we're comparing that to negative 1 2/3. So we need to divide here. We need to see how many times 3 can go into 2. It cannot go into 2, but it can go into 20 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. When we subtract, we get 2, add a 0. Oh, we got 20 again. So this is actually going to repeat. So this decimal here is going to be negative 1.66 repeating. So remember, to compare, we want the same amount of numbers behind the decimal place. So we're going to have to add a 0 to this one up top. And that means that the inequality says that negative 1.6 is less than negative 1 2/3, and that is not true, because if we're comparing these two, this is actually the larger number of the two. So this one is incorrect. Now let's look at the next one. We've got negative 4/5 and then negative 0.8. So we need to divide here to figure out what this is as a decimal. So we need to see how many times 5 goes into 4. And 5 can't go into 4, but it can go into 40 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40, and we're done. So this is negative 0.8, and we're comparing that to negative 0.8. Now, if we look at the inequality symbol that they gave us, that is the less than or equal to sign, and since it is equal to, that means that this inequality is true, so we're going to circle it. All right, the next one here, we've got 2.5, and they're saying that that is greater than the opposite of negative 2 5/100. So this one we can divide here, but 2.5, that's pretty simple. That's 2.5. Hopefully you've memorized that at this point. So we're comparing 2.5, and then if we look at our next part, if we've got negative 2 5/100, and we're taking the opposite of that, that would be positive 2 5/100. So to compare, we're going to want to add a 0 here at the end. So we've got 2.50 and 2.5. So which one is going to be bigger? It is going to be this top guy right here. And if we look, the inequality that they wrote is correct because we want it to eat the bigger number. So this is true. All right, and then the last one, we've got the opposite of the absolute value of 9/10. So we do need to divide here to figure out what this is as a decimal. So we need to put 10 into 9. It can't go into 9, but it can go into 90 9 times. 9 times 10 is 90. And we're done. So this is the opposite of the absolute value of negative 0.9. So let's keep simplifying. If we look at just the absolute value, so we've got negative 0.9, the absolute value of that is positive 0.9, but then we have to take the opposite of that at the end. So our answer here, our final answer for this one is just negative 0.9, that's the first number, negative 0.9, and we're comparing that to positive 0.9. And the way they have the inequality facing is towards the negative, but we know that negatives are not bigger than positive, so this is incorrect.